Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode and another edition of the Everything Medicare Podcast. Today is March 25th, 2019, and it is a beautiful Monday. I hope this finds you doing well and off to a great start to your week, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I'm your host, Christian Brindle, where every single week I give you at least one podcast. Lately, we've been doing two, where I discuss your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Social Security, and everything that has to do with that golden age of your retirement. And today I want to talk about, and I've been talking about this kind of topic a lot lately, being taken advantage of and, avoiding certain things, and just, I'm going to lay off of it after this episode. I'm not going to discuss it for some time unless you want me to. Okay? But I see it all the time. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a story to kind of get into why I want to talk about this topic. Okay? So none of us like to be taken advantage of. Nobody wants to feel like they're getting screwed over by someone or something, whether it be buying a car, whether it be getting a product or service, or whether it be someone kind of guiding us through our health insurance, our Medicare, our car insurance, whatever the case may be. It happens to all of us at some point in our lives, and it makes us weary about trusting people, it makes us paranoid, it makes us unsure on what we should do as far as making certain decisions, and it's happened to me. I just wanted to tell you a little story. Back in 2017, my wife, Stormy, and I, we both had lived in Utah our entire lives, and we decided we wanted to spend some time in Florida. And so we did so. I transferred my business over there temporarily, just because, sometimes you just want to try things out and see how it goes. And we still work with a lot of people in Florida, and that's why we're licensed in Florida. Actually, the origin story of why we are so highly connected with Florida, and we work with a lot of people in Florida, take care of a lot of people in Florida, and it was a great experience, and it turned out for the best for us. But we went down there, moved my company down there temporarily, and we lived in Tampa Bay, Florida, for about a year. And while we were there, we moved my car down there. Okay, at the time I had a nicer car than my wife Stormy did, and we ended up selling her car because it was older, and we just didn't think it was worth bringing all the way down to Florida from Utah. That's about 2,000 plus miles distance. So we sold the car in Florida, decided we'd buy a new car we sold the car in Utah, decided we'd get a new car once we got down to Florida. So we got down to Florida, everything was moved down. Now, for me personally, and if you've ever moved a business from one state to another, you know how incredibly time-consuming and how much is on your plate. I won't bore you with too much of the details, but, we had to get our licenses switched over in a timely fashion over to Florida, and Florida has their own rules and regulations for insurance licenses, business licenses, all that stuff. We partner with top insurance companies. We had to make sure that they were updated and authorized the change and the move, and there was just a lot on my plate. So at the time, I was in kind of a rush to get Stormy another car. And trust me, I'm going somewhere with the story. We went into a dealership, and like I said, I was kind of a hurry, and we ended up picking up a car that, and I'll tell you this, I am an incredibly intellectual person when it comes to Medicare, and I don't have any shame in saying that, and insurance in general. That's what I know. What I don't know is cars. Okay? I'm not much of a car guy, not much of a car whiz. I might know a little bit here and there, but not a tremendous amount. We ended up getting a car, and I was just in a hurry more than anything else to get it done because I had so many other things in my mind at the time. I looked at it as a chore, something that we needed to get done. We ended up getting a car for $22,000, came to find out that it was only worth about $15,000 at the time we bought it. And it's a good car, a nice car, but not worth what we paid for it. And it plagued us for years. In fact, about a week ago, I finally paid the thing off. It took me about 2 years, and I completely paid off the $22,000. It was a mistake. It dragged us down, and it haunted us for quite some time. It's because I was in a rush, and I let a salesperson take advantage of me. I didn't do homework. I didn't look around. I should have had the courage to walk out, but I didn't. And you know why? For the same reason why a lot of you that are listening don't walk out, and why you don't look around when you don't feel right about something. Because when I was in the dealership, I didn't feel right about something, but I fell for a line, one of those sales lines. Well, you're not going to be able to find a better price anywhere else. No one else is going to give you a better interest rate than we will. Da 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 da. And you just take their word for it. And I know I have the confidence and the comfort level, I should say, to share this story with you, because I know I'm not the only person that's gone through this. We went through a lot to get out of that car debt. We paid it off. It's behind us. It's a lesson that we learned, and we're going to be very, very careful and much smarter next time we buy a car. But the point is, we've all gone through something like this. If you live long enough, you'll have someone take advantage of you at some point in your life, in something. And none of us like to be taken advantage of. Not me, not you, not anybody. You don't like to be taken advantage of. You don't like to feel like you're getting taken advantage of. And once you do get taken advantage of, you're in a point where you live in fear of being taken advantage of by people. You have paranoia, you have your shields up, you have your guard up, but you don't particularly know who to have your shields and your guard up against. And you might deflect some people that really actually have your best interest in mind, want to help you, because you're so consumed with deflecting the people that small percentage of people that are trying to take advantage of you. This stuff happens in the Medicare world too. People that offer Medicare supplements, people that offer Medicare Advantage plans. If you haven't noticed, listen to me long enough, I 100% believe, and I can tell you this from my own experience, that there are very, very few people in the Medicare industry that truly 100% have your best interests in mind and don't just look at you as a number, as a quota. And I think that's really tragic. I think that's really unfortunate. And I think because of that, I'd say a majority of people that pick up Medicare programs do so from brokers, from agents, because it's not something that you can easily make a decision on of yourself. I don't think that's the way to do it, to make a decision without a broker or without some type of professional advising you, because it's so confusing. Chances are you're not going to do as good of a job on your own. You're going to leave something out. You're going to pay too much for something. You're going to be like I was, in a rush to get it done, whether you do it on your own or whether you work with the wrong person. We have busy lives, we're in a rush. I understand not everyone has time to, become experts on this stuff like I have. And that's where the truth lies, folks. It's very, very important, extremely important actually, that you know who's trying to help you and who's trying to take advantage of you. Stay with me into segment 2 and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's Monday edition of the Everything Medicare Podcast. And I'm talking today about getting taken advantage of. So I was telling a story in segment 1 about how I was taken advantage of buying a car and how it impacted me and my family for a number of years that we just came out of the tunnel up through. We learned a lesson from it. We're not going to make that mistake again, but sometimes it's hard for people to not get taken advantage of when it comes to Medicare over and over and over and over again, because Medicare is the type of thing that 90+% of people on Medicare wish they understood it better. A recent poll came out and said that. Can't remember where I saw that, but it made total sense to me that only 10% of the population really understand Medicare and what they have and how it works, as well as they'd like to. So, today I got a phone call from someone that was referred over to talking to me by longtime client. She adores me. I adore her. She's a fantastic lady. She refers over to talk to me her neighbor, who has been worked with this other agent. I have no idea who they are, for many, many years. Okay, this lady's as healthy as a horse. She barely goes to the doctor, barely uses her plan, and she's on one of the most expensive programs in my area in Utah. Doesn't need it. She could get a $0 premium plan similar to what she has, and it would be just as good as for what she needs it for. But not only did they give her the most expensive plan, they packaged her with an outrageous hospital indemnity plan. Now let me tell you something about hospital indemnity plans. Hospital indemnity plans are little programs. And they can cost $20 a month. They can cost as much as $80 to $90 a month. But what they do is they're designed to fill in some of the more expensive gaps on a Medicare Advantage plan. We've talked about Medicare Advantage plans before, how sometimes they have large copays for a lot of things. They can in most areas. Hospital indemnity plan will reimburse the patient a portion of that copay or all of it or something like that. But usually it will reimburse someone a couple $100s a day in the hospital. And it can do other things as well, but the more you add on to it, the more it's going to cost. It's usually always going to cost you more than your Medicare plan in general would, that you package it with. And don't get me wrong, these programs can be very helpful for some people that maybe don't want to shell out the money for a Medicare supplement. Maybe they want to pick up a Medicare Advantage plan and then package it with a hospital indemnity plan to beef it up a little bit. I get that, and it works really good for a lot of people. It's not a bad product. There's nothing wrong with the product in and of itself. What's wrong with it is agents do that because they make a big commission on a Medicare Advantage plan. Agents make more commission on a Medicare Advantage plan than any other type of program. Newsflash. In the Medicare world, not life insurance or anything like that, just the Medicare world. So not only do they make a big commission, I'm not going to tell you how much, because they can really come after me for that, but then when they package a hospital indemnity plan on top of it, they make a nice chunk more on top of it. So they're increasing their commission. I know a lot of agents that their objective is to sell a Medicare Advantage plan with a hospital indemnity, whether it's good for that person or not. And that, my friends, that, folks, is taking advantage of somebody. So this person she's paying out all this money for this real expensive program, plus she has this expensive hospital indemnity plan. She hardly ever uses it. She lives paycheck to paycheck, lives off Social Security, and she's had this for years getting taken out of her account. She calls up the agent. She told me over the phone this morning, it broke my heart when I was listening to her. She's called him 7 times in the last 18 months, and he's never called back. You know why? Because he has her on the hook already. She doesn't matter anymore. And that's sick to me. So, what can you do to avoid being taken advantage of? It's simple. If something doesn't feel right, that's a big indicator that it's not right. Think about it. We've all been in a situation where someone was trying to push something on us, pushy salesman. And we didn't feel right about it from the get-go, but we caved under the pressure. You need to stand up to somebody and be willing to say no. have the courage to say no if you don't feel right about it. Don't let people push you into things that you just don't feel good about from the get-go. Number 1, instinct. Number 2, if it doesn't make sense to you, maybe it's not just a feeling or an instinct. Maybe number 2, maybe what they're saying just makes no sense at all. You're like, well, I don't need that. Or I'd never, you're trying to push dental insurance on you for crowns and you have dentures. Use your head. You know your situation better than this salesperson does. So don't let them push something on you that you don't need. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be insured. Maybe be a little overinsured. It's not a bad thing. But a lot of these agents don't make it in the business. I've told you this many times. 90+% of brokers that do what I do are not in the insurance industry in 3 years. 90%. And depending on which article you look at, statistic you look at, it might say 89% in one place, 91% in another. I'm going to say 90% because it's right in the middle. They do it because they're trying to get as much money out of somebody as they possibly can in one transaction, and that's bull, if you ask me. If it's good for you, if you want it, I'll give you whatever you like. Don't get me wrong. And if you understand it. But most agents don't work that way. They're trying to get you on the hook for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 policies in one swap, so they can make thousands of dollars off of you at one time. Don't fall for that. Do not. Use your head, your instincts, and make sure it makes sense to you. Number 3, if you can't afford something, and you know you're not going to be able to afford it, don't sign the paper. Make sure that it makes sense for you financially at the time. There's plenty of people I know that are insurance poor, meaning that they spend so much money out every month in insurance premiums that they don't have money to live almost. Don't be that person. So those are my 3 tips to you today. Use your head. Use your instincts. And keep what you can afford in mind. Stay with me into segment 3. Welcome back, folks. Thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end, and I hope I helped this week. A lot of you that are listening are in exactly the situation that I described with that lady that called me today. Heartbreaking. Don't let it happen. You have the power to make it right. Folks, I really appreciate you listening each and every week. I'm not going to plug my book today. I'm just going to say to you that I hope you have a wonderful, terrific, fantastic week. And we've been doing the 2 podcasts a week system for a couple of weeks now, and you guys have had great results. And we've got a lot of positive feedback, so we're going to continue doing it for the foreseeable future. We might change down the road, but for now, we're going to keep it going. Check us out on social media. My company's name is Christian Brindle Insurance Services. We're part of a large organization called Brindle Insurance Group. Find us on Facebook, Christian Brindle Insurance Services. On Twitter, C_E_Brindle, BRINDLE. That's just my personal Twitter page where I tweet out all kinds of good information that you can use on a day-to-day basis. Instagram, Christian Brindle Insurance. YouTube, Christian Brindle for some of our educational YouTube videos. And of course, as always, folks, if you'd like to work with me, and me personally, maybe you're not so sure if you're on the right plan for you and you're already on Medicare, you're just not satisfied with your benefits. Maybe you're turning 65 and you're just not sure which way to go with your Medicare. And you happen to live in Florida, Idaho, and Utah. Those are the 3 states that I'm able to work with you in. Those are the 3 areas my company is licensed to work with you in. Give us a call at 801-255-5340, 801-255-5340. Thank you for listening, folks. And I can't wait to talk to you coming Saturday. Goodbye.